Hey everyone, so now I'm going to do a video on how I sell options. And this is the most basic form of my favorite strategy, and that is credit spread, or collecting a credit for putting a trade on. And I really like doing this despite the fact that the profits aren't quite as high as they are when you're buying a trade, but it's a little more straightforward. Well, it might be a little bit more complex to some people when it comes to how your risk and reward is set up. So let's get into it. I'll try not to make this video too long, just like all my others. With the market being closed and TD Ameritrade, Thinkorswim doing whatever they want to do right now, it's showing NA over here, but normally this shows what the market thinks the price should move by in a plus or minus. It doesn't tell you which direction. It just says a plus or minus, and then it has a percentage, and then it has an actual figure. So it might say for next week in Roku plus or minus 12 points or something like that. So it's pricing in those 12 points. So I'm going to go to an expiration that I'm using right now for a few trades, August 6th. And let's go to, I'm going to show you how I sell them. Remember, I don't sell them naked. I always sell them with a buddy. So let's see. Let's choose. And because TD Ameritrade is doing whatever it wants, I don't think it always shows everything. It's just 100 or 1 if it's in the money or out of the money, or it has a probability in the money or out of the money. When the market's open, so you see all the ones that are in the money are blue, and they say the probability of being out is 0%. All the ones that are out of the money, their probability of being out shows 100%. That's not actually accurate. It doesn't show this when the market's open, and it actually doesn't show this normally during the week. So they may be doing some kind of maintenance or something. I never really noticed it. But anyway, let's go ahead and remember, when we're selling something, we got to look for a bidder. So boom, let's go ahead and sell there. Actually, let's go a little bit lower. Let's go ahead and sell here, and then let's go $5 apart. Does anybody remember how we know the most that any two positions like this, where it's a buy and a sell, or a sell and a buy, can be worth? You just do subtract these two, 415 minus 420, 415 from 420, and you get 5 times 100 is 500 bucks. That's the most it could be worth. So let's see how much of that 500 bucks we can collect. Okay, we can collect $222. That's a pretty good amount of money to collect for this trade. Now look, remember, it's the most it could be worth is $5, and I'm collecting $2.22 of that. So what does that tell us about our max loss? Our max loss is $278. Okay, I really wish the market was open, or and I was paying attention earlier before it showed those probabilities at 0 and 100%, because that's super important. But I did show it on another video, so at some point I'll try and reference that afterwards. But basically, for this trade, when you sell, the reason why I love selling options so much is because there's more than one way to make money. Okay, so for one, if the volatility is high in Roku, or in a broad market index that Roku is a part of, if the volatility is high in Roku, that means that there will be a lot of strike prices, a wider range of strike prices. So instead of just a handful that are close to where the stock is trading at, there will be a wider range, even to the upside. There will be a wider range. Remember that plus or minus I mentioned? There will be a wider range of strike prices that have a decent amount of value that you can sell for a nice penny. So now, but of course, the further away from the money you get, the smaller the amount that you collect. So let's test that theory really quick. This is what's called a $5 wide spread because the strikes are $5 away from one another. But let's go much further away from the money. And let's do the same exact thing. $5, 370, 365. We're only collecting $92. The most it still could be worth that position is 500, but because we're selling it, the most that we could make is $92. So the most that we could lose is $408. And now somebody would probably say, why on earth would I take this trade knowing that my risk is $400 and my maximum profit is $92? Well, here's why. If the market was open, you'd be able to see that the probability of this trade, of you reaching your maximum profit, or in other words, being able to keep all $92 that you collected when you opened the trade, the probability is probably really, really high. This affects your buying power by 408. It's almost like a deposit buffer in case the max loss comes. So there's no guarantee that you're going to lose $408, but it reduces your buying power by the amount that you could potentially lose. And that's why it's important to define your risks. Remember when we did on the single options trade videos? Remember, if we were to do something like that, look at that maximum loss. Look at how that jumped up to 5 digits worth. But if we were to add our option leg back, what did we have? We're on 370, so we went to the 365. Now let's go back and go back to here. It reduces it tremendously based on the width of the spread. Now, if you want to collect more money and but you're also going to reduce your buying power even more. So let's take that leg back off and let's make it even wider. Let's make it $10 wide. Anybody in the audience listening, if it's $10 wide, 360, 370, if it's $10 wide, what's the most that position can be worth? I'll give you 10 seconds. $1,000. If you said $1,000, you got that right. So let's go to the next screen. The most it could be worth is $1,000. What we would collect is $180. Remember, you got to take off the 65 cents, but we got 2 contracts, so 65 cents times 2, you get $1.30. Confirm the order. The most that we could lose is $820 because the position, the most it could be worth is $1,000, but we've already collected $180 of that $1,000, which leaves $820 in risk, which is also the same as what our buying power will be reduced by. Now, I know that was a lot, but you should watch this video more than once, and some of this will come together, and I will try and make more videos about this because selling is my favorite strategy, and especially selling spreads. The same thing, I mean, when you sell a put, though, because this is a sold put spread, we benefit in more than one way. We benefit when the stock price goes up, and we also benefit if the stock price stays right where it's at. So, and we benefit as each day passes because the coupon that we sold is losing value. And because it's losing value, that means that we sold it when it was more expensive, and it's losing value each day, just like every other option. So if it's losing value each day, we're in a threefold, we're in a position where we could benefit threefold from 3 different ways. From each day passing, if the stock price goes up, or if the stock price sits still. And that's why the risk and the reward is skewed so much. Because you have an edge, because there's 3 different ways for you to keep all $180 from this trade. It's not a guarantee because the stock could drop tremendously. But when the market prices in a certain amount statistically, which is what this screen would have showed, and it would have showed it on the NA, and that's why I really like Thinkorswim, because it's a one-stop shop. It's just not being reliable right now overnight, and it might just be because I'm in paper trade mode. But anyway, I really recommend watching this video over and over again and so that you get some of the concepts, but please ask me questions if you have them. I hope this helps somebody. Thanks, guys.